"This isn't a cruise, sweetheart. You lost?" one sailor called out, chuckling as Lieutenant Refo strode through the narrow corridor of the Navy vessel. Her tan uniform clung neatly to her form, brass pins catching the fluorescent light, but the men didn't see a naval officer. They saw a distraction. Whispers rippled down the hall like oil slick on water. "She must be some VIP's girlfriend or a PR stunt," another mumbled just loud enough. "Look at the way she walks, like she runs the place." Refo didn't respond. Her eyes were forward, her pace steady, shoulders squared like she was carved from granite. But behind her, eyebrows raised and smirks curled. A few tried to hide their laughter behind coughs. One even muttered, "Bet she's never seen real combat. They probably sent her here to make us more diverse." She reached the command terminal and tapped the panel. Silence followed. Not out of respect, out of confusion. It wasn't protocol for someone like her to access that station, at least that's what the crew assumed. Then the captain turned the corner. He was a no-nonsense man, decades deep in sea duty, with salt and pepper hair and a sharp glare that cut through ranks. He opened his mouth to address her, but stopped short. His eyes fell on her name tag. Then lower, to the hard-earned insignia resting above her breast pocket. His jaw locked. Something shifted in his face, a recognition, a memory, or maybe disbelief. "You're Refo?" he said slowly. "Yes, sir," she answered, crisp and firm. "Lieutenant Commander Alina Refo." "Reporting as ordered." The captain blinked. For a split second, he looked rattled. "You were on the Lagos Op. You led the evac under enemy fire, saved 12 lives." Now the crew was staring, their amusement draining into confusion, then unease. One sailor's lips parted, stunned. Another's smirk vanished completely. Refo gave a small nod. "That's correct. Operation Hammer Wake. I was logistics and coordination lead on the ground. Our air support was compromised. We had to reroute every survivor through a civilian corridor. It wasn't pretty." "And the convoy ambush?" the captain asked, voice quiet now. "We lost the lead vehicle. I drove the second truck through," she replied. "Didn't stop until we hit the base perimeter." Silence blanketed the corridor. No one moved. No one blinked. Every eye was locked on her, and suddenly those same men who had mocked her presence realized they were standing in front of a decorated war hero. One young sailor stammered, "Wait, that convoy story. That was the mission with no air cover. I read the report. Someone had to carry 2 wounded Marines back on foot, across 4 clicks." Refo's eyes met his. "I carried 3. The captain exhaled and shook his head. "I read your record years ago. I didn't think I'd ever meet you." He straightened up, then did something no one expected. He snapped a salute. Sharp, unflinching. "Welcome aboard, Commander." Refo returned it with quiet pride. The sailors behind her were frozen. Their jokes had turned to ash, and now all they could do was replay every ignorant word they'd spoken. The captain looked over his shoulder at the stunned crew and said, "This woman isn't here for show. She's here because when everything else fell apart, she held the line. You'd be lucky to learn from her." He turned back to Refo. "Take command of Deck 5 briefing. They'll report to you at 06100. As she walked past the crew, heads lowered. They weren't told to stand at attention, but many did. Respect doesn't need to be ordered, it's earned, and in that hallway, hers hit like thunder. One sailor whispered under his breath, "I thought she didn't belong." Another muttered, "She is the ship." Later that evening, word had spread through the entire vessel. Her record was being read aloud in mess halls and whispered during midnight rotations. They didn't just learn her name, they learned what she carried. Her story, her scars, her silence, and the weight behind that badge on her chest. So never assume someone's worth from the way they look or the way they walk. The quietest person in the room might be the one who carried others through fire. Before we end this story, let us know in the comment, where are you watching from? If this story touched you, subscribe to the channel and hit that like button and drop a karma in the comments below.